Hey guys, today's experiment is balancing hex nuts. So you're gonna need 4 pop cans, a ruler, some ceramic magnets, 2 of them, and some hex nuts, and a glass. And to be honest, I tried this and it is really frustrating because I can't get them to balance. But so what you do is you take your cans and you stack them up, put a ruler in between, balancing it on top, with a magnet on the top and the bottom, and attach your hex nuts to the bottom underside of your bottom magnet. Put a glass underneath, and the goal is to balance your hex nuts as much as you can, keep them in a straight line, to balance on the glass, and they'll be able to stand up. I have tried it multiple times and I'm still not able to do it. And so for me, it seems like it might be impossible. Well, today's lesson, we're going to talk about things that might seem impossible. If you get a chance to try this, let me know in the comments how it worked for you. Did you give up? Are you still trying? I think I'm about ready to give up. It's really hard. But you know what? We're going to learn today in our lesson that with Jesus, nothing is impossible because he makes everything possible. And when he's by our side, we can do things that seem really hard and really frustrating. So I hope you enjoy our lesson. Give this experiment a try and let me know what you think. Thanks. Hey guys, how amazing was today's experiment? Would you have even imagined that it would be possible to balance some nuts on the edge of a glass? Well, under ordinary circumstances, it is impossible. We couldn't do it. But science sometimes makes the impossible possible. Science has enabled us to do all sorts of things that seem impossible. Science has enabled us to fly, to travel into space, even to the moon. We've been able to use satellites to travel to the farthest places outside of our solar system, beyond things that we even imagined. Medical science has enabled us to cure diseases, to create artificial limbs, to research and get to the smallest layer of our DNA and our code and what that means, and even to investigate the smallest part of matter, the atom. Well, amazing as science is limited. There are some things that science can't do. Science can't heal a broken heart. Science can't turn a grumpy, negative person into someone who loves their neighbor. Science can't even mend friendships and relationships that are broken. And science can't cure our very deepest, worst problem, sin. Science is limited because we are limited. We are the ones who are doing science, and we're limited. We can't do that. Humans are imperfect. And because we're imperfect, we can only do so much. We can't even save ourselves from sin. But we have a God who loves us and who has given us his Son, who is in things and of things and has the power to overcome those things that seem impossible and make them possible. And that's Jesus. Today's lesson, we're going to see that something that Jesus did that seemed impossible, and he makes it possible. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. And it says, immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on a mountain by himself to pray. Now, when evening had come, he came alone. He was alone there, but the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now, in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "Is it a ghost?" And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand, caught him, and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got back into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshiped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So, boat travel. Have you ever been on a boat? I've been on a boat a couple of times. A rowboat, a kayak, even a big boat. Science has allowed us to create safety guidelines, safety mechanisms, safety shields, life jackets, things that protect us when we're out on the water. Well, boats in Bible times didn't have all these fancy equipment, navigation systems, life jackets even. When they were out on the water and a storm rose up, it most certainly meant that they were going to, one, be in a lot of trouble because their boat would take on water, and two, most likely they were going to die if it was a really big storm. And so boats were not designed for heavy storms. And even boats today aren't designed for heavy storms. But, the disciples are out on the boat and they're thinking, man, here comes the storm and we are done for. We are going to die. And they were afraid. The storm came up, they were afraid. But then here comes Jesus. Not in a boat. He's not even swimming. He is walking on the water, on top of it, not like in it, like you would when you walk into the lake or you walk through the pool. Jesus is on top of the water. He showed us that when he is involved, normal things that like science and the rules of nature, they disappear because he's in control, and with him, nothing is impossible. Jesus then shows us that we can do the impossible. When we have faith to believe in Jesus and that he can do the impossible, we can do things too, like walk on the water. Like Peter walked on the water, and when he kept his eyes on Jesus, he stayed on top of the water too. But what happened when he took his eyes off of Jesus? Yeah, he started to sink. And Jesus told him he had a little faith. And so when we take our eyes off of Jesus and we stop believing that Jesus can do the impossible, then we start to have problems. So apart from him, there is nothing much that we can do. But when Jesus is by our side, he makes it possible to do the impossible. I hope you enjoyed our experiment today. I hope you enjoyed our lesson as well. I hope you find things to do and putting your faith in Jesus, and you too can do the impossible with him by your side. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.